in North Africa. Anyone that didn't fight him, he made an ambassador. He didn't want them to be in the country where they might speak up. So here we had a 30-year-old ambassador to Czechoslovakia, and we'd go over there, and he would arrange for us to go out into the countryside, and we would take over a hotel and have food and drink, and we had everything served to us there. But that's what happens when you have a 30-year-old ambassador. And so we took advantage of every minute. I say now, those were the days, because I could never duplicate them. And every minute I had, I traveled. If we had a 3-day weekend, I was off traveling someplace. And in the winter, we'd go skiing. I'm not like you. I'm not a fabulous skier. We would go, I'm a very intermediate skier. And a lot of time I fell on my buns. But I enjoyed every minute of it. I was told to keep it short, but also ask you if you had questions. And do any of you have questions? Yes. I lived in Vienna for 4 years. Yeah, I had met a gentleman over there, and he was going to Florida as a head engineer on a nuclear power plant. And he said, if you aren't doing anything, come to Florida and we see what happens. Well, he's still my good friend. He still lives in Florida, and nothing ever happened. I ended up back in Minnesota, and it was back here in Minnesota that I later went on to meet my husband, and he put up with me. I was, like I say, always into one thing or another, and he would just shake his head and say, I don't believe you. So this is my quick tale.
Other questions? And I'll repeat the question for Jean. Yeah. I heard that your sister...
My husband was the head curator at the American Swedish Institute. And while he was there, we had many dress-up events we attended. I met the king and queen and all sorts of things like that. And I really had an interesting life because any opportunities that came up, I was there to grab hold. My latest job, I'm now a million miler with Delta, but the latest job, I was an international medical courier, and I would take bone marrow, stem cells, between Tokyo and Seattle, then taxi north and deliver it to a lab and get back here for the weekend and then do the whole run over again. And that's how I got my 1,000,000 miles. Any other questions? Yes. I worked at.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, she wanted to know how I got the Mean Gene label. Because she says I'm not mean. I worked at Caribou Coffee, and when I worked there, I do have a little carpal tunnel, so I couldn't just snap the heads off the machine. I go whammo and get them off. And they'd say, Gene, don't be so mean to the machine. And then it got shortened to Mean Gene with the coffee machine, and then flat out Mean Gene. And when I had this moniker, it made me stand out, so I go with Mean Gene wherever I go.
Question in the back. Did everybody hear that?
He asked what kind of a car did I have that I brought back. It was bright orange. It had American specs on it, and it was a Beetle. I looked like a rolling orange, you know, one you would eat. Is that, they used to, one of the guys at school called it my original citrus machine because it kept breaking down. Anyone else?
Any other questions? Yeah. There are rumors that you were working for the CIA.
I got involved with not the CIA. I wasn't that official. When I got out of college, I wanted to be a spy. I bought a trench coat, and I couldn't find the employment line. And so in Vienna, I got involved in a few things, and one was smuggling people out of Hungary. And now it doesn't matter. I don't even remember the guy's name, but we had some interesting nights. We'd go out and sit on the border on the Austrian side, and he would take the light and turn off on the top, put his arm around me and pretend like we were necking, but we weren't. And all of a sudden, a back door would open, someone would crawl in, lay on the floor, and we'd stay there a while, then take them into Vienna and let them out at someone's house. But no CIA, just Jean and her getting herself involved.
We knew there was a story there. I was afraid it wasn't going to come out. Go ahead. How many jobs have you had in your lifetime?
Well, I sold cotton candy at the fair. I worked for Sweet Martha. I sold foot-long hot dogs at the fair. I taught school. Oh, yeah, there's so many I've had, I don't know how to count them. But Sweet Martha and I are friends.
So when you see Jean sitting in the cafeteria working on her Sudoku or her puzzles, and you think, oh, there's an old woman sitting in the corner. My God, this woman smuggled people out of Hungary. She did a lot of things, traveled all over Europe, so quite a woman, quite a history. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We should all have such exciting lives, huh? My most exciting experience one time, not most exciting, but was I went with my ex-husband because I knew German, and somebody asked